David, yeah, first of all, how are you getting on? How's it been?
It's been really good. It's quite lucky that I invested in. It wasn't expensive. That a couple of motorbike rollers. They're used for checking your wheels over. So I bought a couple of them, and it's enabled me to get the wheelchair on top of the rollers. So I was able to push when the weather's bad. So what I usually do is I get the sort of day chair. I can walk and things like that, but not too good. So I've got a wheelchair. So I put the computer on there, set it up to watch a few of the video game rugby games. The World Cup or the Challenge Plate Cups. So I set that up, and then I start pushing my wheelchair to pass the time away. But it's been quite good. It's also I realised because I've done a few videos that I've been doing the wrong sort of technique for pushing the the wheelchair. So it's enabled me to stick to the best way to push the rim. So I'm quite pleased with that as well. So even though I'm counting the moulds down in the garage with the challenge, I'm actually hopefully improving my technique.
Yeah, it's actually getting something out of it as well as just building up the miles and that. That's fantastic. Not long left on the challenge now. How are you going personally with your miles, and sort of what's the sort of general consensus of how it's been?
Yeah, it's going really well. Because I want to show exactly how much I'll be able to do per week, and I'm on target now. I'm roughly down to the last 80 miles, so it's brilliant. And the wheelchair pushes again. They're very useful. That they're counting down the miles, but I'm building my arms up. I'm again getting the technique, even though it's a slightly different technique to pushing a wheelchair where it is a day chair. But it's just been brilliant to get out in the weather, and that certainly it's certainly so much better than being in the garage and just pushing the wheels round and round. So yeah, so I'm really pleased that I'm on track. With me, for my mileage, the way I'm doing it, I'm in the garage in the sports chair on the rollers, or I'm out pushing. Um, with the chair and that, like, and getting the distance in, whereas others are doing press ups, or especially the coaches and that they're doing long walks and runs. So yeah, it's going really well.
Some challenging weather during the time so far. We saw a video of you battling on through the snow. How's it been sort of motivating yourself? I mean, obviously it's easy to get out there days like today, the last couple of days where it's been a bit nicer, but those days where it's been like difficult weather, or I mean, obviously you've been able to go inside, but where you're just not feeling so motivated, how's it been to get yourself to keep going?
Yeah, it is hard, but the motivation's there because I just I love just going out in the chair and doing that. So that's a big help. Like, I went out last week in the wheelchair and I thought, oh, this is great, and I'm pushing along, and then I come across a path and it was just complete mud. So that was really hard, and the path slightly sloped. So to try and get through the mud, and the next sort of level past the mud was a stream. So I got very close to that. So it was touch and go whether I made it or I ended up in the stream. So it can be a bit dodging out, because I do like to go off road. I've got a thing called a freewheel. So basically, it's a bracket with a larger wheel on, roughly about, I would say, uh, a foot diameter. And what that does, you clamp that onto the front of your wheelchair, and it lifts the front of the wheelchair up, and your caster wheels are off the ground. So you're able to go on grass, gravel, quite rough conditions. So I do prefer to do that, even though it is easier to go on the road. Uh, but I do like, do that. And again, it pushes you more, and there's quite a lot of hills and that on the walk, and I do get a lot of people coming up to me and saying, oh, you all right, do you want to help, do you want to push? But I just explain that I'm on a challenge and I'm training, so it can be really hard work pushing up the hills, but once you get there, it is you do feel like you've done something, and you've achieved something.
And obviously, the miles are for an excellent cause, trying to raise £5,000 towards the World Cup at the end of the year. Just how important is it to get that £5,000?
It's huge. It's huge. For the last World Cup 2017, it was every player had to from the cells. There's nothing coming through to Scotland. It's a small organisation, like England and Australia, Wales. They're a bit bigger organisation, so they get quite a lot of funding. So it is a huge thing to be able to get the things needed. I mean, when we went to the World Cup in 2017, England and France, they had like physios and they had people people to do the chairs and everything. So for a burst tire, they was there straight away. Whereas Scotland, we had to do it in a very, very small group. We had Kay, who was a nurse, and she was brilliant. But apart from Kay, that was it. The rest was it was just a team and one coach. So it would be amazing to raise the 5,000 and have all the kit there, everything we need, training as well. As we're there's about half the squad based in Scotland and the other half based in England. So the just the travelling alone to training camps is quite expensive. So to get subsidised or get payment for that would be be a great help.
And obviously, this World Cup would be one that I'm guessing everyone's keen to be a part of, given that for the first time we've got all the tournaments playing at the same time, and especially off the back of a year, and it's going to be a year and a bit of this pandemic and people struggling for things to do. This is surely one of the most anticipated World Cups.
Yeah, everyone's really talking about it, and just to represent your country and everything, and that, like, it's just absolutely amazing, and that, like, just to represent Scotland, it's you get the buzz and everything, and now you're in your line up and you come out onto the pitch and everything. It's just amazing. But this one's going to be so much special. I think there's more effort gone to this World Cup. There's as you say, it's combined with the women's and the men's, and it's going to be covered by BBC. So yeah, it's going to be the biggest wheelchair rugby World Cup ever. So and again, as you say, it's combined with the other one, so it's just going to be massive.
I was just actually a way to ask you what it felt like for you personally to represent Scotland in the past.
Yeah, it's unless you've done it, it's really hard to explain. You just on an eye, and you just you can't believe it. And sometimes you have to pinch yourself that you're an international. You're representing your country at the highest level, and to be in the World Cup was just amazing. And it was really, really so as it organised, it was really good. But you had Wales and Australia especially, because they got youth squads. They came over to the Scotland training squads, and they helped us out, and they trained with us, and it was really friendly. And even though playing the games, it was competitive and 100%, but it was brilliant for these two squads to come along on different days to give us their expertise, how they train and how they prepare. So it's amazing to represent your country, and you obviously got the nerves and everything, and then you go onto the pitch and you're introduced and you go out when they call your name. It's just brilliant, and being in the crowds as well. It's just great to see all the crowds, and after the game, even if you lose and that, like, it's just great, to go around and to clap the crowd because they've supported you all the way through the game. It's a brilliant feeling.
Sort of 6 months there roundabouts out from the tournament. Has there been much sort of build up within the Scotland group so far?
There's online, so we're keeping in touch online, passing on the 250-mile challenge, what we're doing, and there's a bit of banter and that, but with the COVID and everything, it's been very, very hard. But yeah, there's been videos on there. Really impressed with Jim, the coach, and that, like, we've got Mark as well. But Jim's been absolutely brilliant. He's already completed the challenge, and he's leading the way. He's been absolutely brilliant with his the challenge.
And just how inspirational is it to have like an example like that of someone completing the challenge in such a short time as the coach, setting the standards.
It's brilliant because he says in himself that he hasn't really done a lot of running and that. So for him to do that amount in such a short space of time, it's brilliant. It certainly got myself like more motivated, and that certainly when he put the video up, I was out the next day and got actually a couple of runs in that so to have something like that do that, it just push you to do more yourself.
We've talked about how sort of exciting this World Cup is going to be. What are Scotland's ambitions for this World Cup?
We want to do the best we can. We realise that England and France are way above us in that, like in the level the leagues in France and England, that's where it all happens, and that's where in Scotland there's just basically Dundee Dragons. There is the Glasgow Panthers, but they dropped down a wee bit. I think they concentrate on the sevens, rugby league sevens. So it all happens down like in England, but we certainly want to show that we're in there to do our best, and and to push every team in every game. There is a lot of bit of like we're not sure what's going to happen because like Norway and USA, we haven't seen them play, so that's going to be interesting in that. But yeah, we're certainly going to be working on defence and quite a bit to see if we can hold them and then work on our attacking. So I think that's how it's going to work out. But yeah, it's going to be really, really hard. I mean, like England's got one of the best players in the world, if not the best player, and that. I was amazed that I thought because I'm 60 now. But I was amazed. I thought, I'm going to be one of the oldest players in the World Cup. But there's a player there who wears his age on his shirt, and he was 66 years old, a French player, absolutely brilliant player. And you couldn't tell anything, he was just amazing. He's an amputee and that, and he was really good. But we also for the prep for the World Cups were different in that I've got muscular dystrophy, so I've got muscle wasting of the legs and upper parts of my body. So about a year and a quarter ago, like I was having loads of problems with the upper left hand side of me back and it, like so I was being taken off because I was in pain. So with a lot of us, we got to work on getting these sort of conditions sorted before we can get to training. Touch wood, I'm at the position now where I feel like I'm in a good way and I'm doing well. But we've got quite a few permanent wheelchair users, which they've got to fight to get to the level where they can actually train, or like there's our captain. She was training today, but she was training in a day chair because it would have been uncomfortable to train in a sports chair, and she's hoping now that she can carry on without an operation because that might jeopardise World Cup position. So yeah, there's quite a lot of players that play for Scotland who it's not just the fight to play again the squad, it's actually to get to the fit level to compete for a place.
It's great to hear that you're doing well. How do you feel being one of the older players at the World Cup? What does that bring? What can you bring with that to the Scotland group?
Yeah, I must admit, and if I can make the World Cup and represent Scotland at 60, I think that to me that would be absolutely amazing. I've played for Scotland now for 4 years, and I've trained with them for a couple of years longer than that. So I know what it's about, and so hopefully I can give advice. Again, like I say, I was training with the captain, so obviously I listened to the captain, and we've got a bit more experienced players than myself. But I do feel that I do talk quite well, because on the pitch you've got to communicate and speak, and I do feel that that's one of my best parts of my game, that I'm verbal, so I can pass things on. But yeah, I think when I say I'm 60, I'm probably the oldest player, but there's a few players not too far behind me, and that's Graham, who used to be the captain. I think he's only 5 years behind me. Hopefully, he's upset him saying it's not so much. So there are a few of us. We are sort of a mature, I would say, like a group of players. We have got a few younger players coming through, which is brilliant. But yeah, you know, it would be amazing to represent Scotland at 60.
It would definitely. Thanks very much, David, for this, and best of luck with the rest of the challenge. Just finally, how can sort of people go on and donate if they're watching this?
Yeah, it would be amazing if people can donate and that. The group has set up obviously the 255 mile challenge hashtag and that, so it would be brilliant if people could go onto, you know, the Scotland website, or monitor their social media, because we're putting that over onto social media. So if they can look out for the squad on there, yeah, it would be brilliant. I know like a few other players are looking down of channels and that, like, if you know, businesses and that, like, but I think the main money coming through will be from the 255 mile challenge.
Yeah, perfect. All the details for donating are on the website and the social media. David, best of luck for the rest of the challenge and for building up right through into that World Cup, and we'll hopefully see you out on the pitch not too long in the future.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely amazing, and that it'd be fantastic. I certainly, I was saying that I'm available for the Celtic Cup, which will be the next international. So, you know, fingers crossed I can make that one. If I can, then obviously then the Celtic Cup and then the World Cup.
Perfect. Hopefully see you there.
Yeah, thank you very much.